I can honestly say that the last time I was on my fat loss journey, I really did believe that it was something I was doing was different. I really did believe that where I was headed was going to happen. It was a completely different mindset, I guess, if you will, than I had ever had before. Because up until that point, honestly, it was all about what was happening with a certain diet program. Because if you're like me, I've spent most of my life struggling with my weight, never being happy with my body, losing weight and then regaining it, losing weight and then regaining it over and over. But the last time in 2017 and 2018, there was something very different about what I believed. And that's what I want to talk about today, because what you believe about your journey, your fat loss journey, your fitness journey, where you're headed is going to either make or break your fat loss journey. Let's get into it. Welcome back to our show, girl. Glad you're here. I hope you're having a fantastic day, whatever you're doing. Thank you once again for being a dedicated listener. Oh, girl, today it's like the last couple of days really hit me that I'm getting closer to this event. I don't even know if I've mentioned this on the podcast, but my birthday weekend is my birthday is November 23rd. And that weekend on the 22nd, I am going to be flying out to Tucson, Arizona to do the tour to Tucson with my close friend, Camille Bauer. I don't even know if she listens to the podcast, but anyway, she's coordinating her friends, a few of her girlfriends that ride to do this tour. And it's about a 63 mile ride. I've been training for it. I'm super excited about it. I don't know her friends, but it's really cool that she's putting this together and I'm excited to go. But, I've had a lot of things that I've been focused on and I haven't necessarily been focusing on this trip, except I have been training for it. So that's the most important part of it, right? But I started seeing the days and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to make a plan for my bike. How am I going to get my bike there? What am I going to do? And she had offered, I think her dad has some extra bikes. And I was like, no, I really want to ride my own bike. Anyway, long story short, I discovered the cost of what it was going to cost to actually ship my bike to Tucson. And it's not just the shipping. It's like take the bike to the bike shop locally. They package it up. There's a cost for that. Then they ship it. There's a cost for that. It gets to the bike shop over there and then they take it out, assemble it. There's a cost for that. And then I'm on my way and then I come back. They have to put it back, disassemble it, put it back in the box, ship it back here to my, okay, you get the point. All of that, it was looking like it was going to cost, my goodness, I mean, no less than like $500. And I'm like, this is so crazy. Anyway, long story short, and no, I'm not going to take my bike in a case. Really cool. I found someone that was recommended by a bike shop locally in Tucson that said this guy, because I said, hey, where can I just rent a bike? Where can I rent a bike? I know, a quality bike, a bike similar to what I already ride. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm super pumped. I found that this morning and it's just like a big relief. And I talked to this guy this morning and he's in Tucson and he does this as a side gig. He's got several bikes, really nice things that he keeps up on. And I'm going to take my pedals. I'm going to take my, my saddle, my seat, and my my bike computer and mount. So he's just going to swap those out for me and it's going to be so much less, like crazy. I don't know why I didn't think about it sooner. Anyway, just excited about that. I'm excited about this trip coming up. And I am going to be 55 years young, girl. It's crazy how fast life goes by. And, really have learned, I think it's amazing when we can, as women, truly embrace our age and just embrace aging altogether. Like what an honor, what a privilege it is to get to age, right? So that is not what this podcast episode is about today, but I thought you might kind of want to know a little personal update of what's going on. Cheers. Those of you watching me here on YouTube, here's my Nurses Call the Shots cup. Let's take a little swig of some water. I don't have the jug, but this is just like chug the jug. Okay, we did that. I hope you did that with me. So here's something funny, another little thing. We were having a coaching call yesterday, and one of my members in Rock That Fitness said, Anna, your podcast episode came up on my feed on YouTube. I didn't know you were on YouTube. I'm laughing so hard. Yeah, so here I am on YouTube. Ta-da. I've been trying to figure out what to do with my microphone. Like, I've had it here, I've had it here, I've had it here. I don't know. But anyway, today I'm sporting my Rockstar Strong rocker tank. By the way, the store is open for business. You can always go on there and get some Rockstar swag at rockthatfitness.com and go to the store. Anyway, my member here, Jennifer, she said that she likes to listen to my podcast when she's working. And I'm like, how do you do those two things at the same time? I don't know how somebody does that. Anyway, she's not the only one. So, and another person said they listen to it while they're working. They're apparently working with numbers and they can listen to a podcast at the same time. That's a gift. Truly a gift. But anyway, Jennifer, shout out to you. And yeah, she's right. I don't even say much about that. But you can actually find my podcast on YouTube. I am on there. We upload these. We've been uploading the podcast here on YouTube for, I'm sure, over a year now. See, I don't even pay attention, but we're loading it up on YouTube. All right, let's get into this topic today. I am inspired by this topic because it's so fascinating to me that we as women have gone so long doing all the things and all the diet programs and blah, 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 losing weight, gaining weight, all the, the story, right? And what's so fascinating to me is like, we can put in all of that effort, but the real work happens right here between the ears, right inside of this noodle, right? That's really the hard work. The hard work is challenging ourselves, because if you want true growth and you want true sustainability with anything that you're doing, successful people, and that's you, girl. If you listen to my podcast, I know you're that type. You're that type that's working to improve yourself. You're that type that wants to go next level. You're always wanting to do better. So, you're here. I know you do. But this is the part. Successful people always challenge their beliefs. They challenge what they believe. They say, is that really true? And they're always challenging what's going on. Not in a negative way. I see it's just in a being open-minded to how to do something differently, how to do something in a way that's sustainable, more simple, more enjoyable, right? And so I have seen, and I know that studies have proven this, that people who are successful in anything, they're going to challenge things just like scientists do. Just like scientists doing some kind of an experiment, they're going to ask the question. There's going to be a hypothesis. There's going to be an experiment. There's going to be doing the experiment, documenting the data. And then at the end of this, we're going to assess the data. We're going to check this out. Well, remember, you cannot measure what you don't track. This is what scientists do. This kind of stuff. Successful people, we do that. That's right. We do that, girl. So anyway, this is one of those things where it takes courage to challenge our thoughts, because it requires removing the ego. Get the ego out of the way and really ask yourself the question, whatever that question is, because the truth really is, if you want better answers, how many times have you heard this? If you want better answers, well, girl, you got to ask better questions. So today, the question becomes, what do you believe? And, there's a lot of beliefs we have, and beliefs are not something that we're born with. We learn them. We pick them up along the way with something that gets hardwired inside of us. So today's podcast, I want to talk about two beliefs that either make or break our fat loss journey. And then I'm also going to talk a little bit about something also that's kind of ties into this and is near and dear to my heart, and I believe strongly in, and that is why loving your body right now changes everything. That's another thing I want to kind of tack on to this podcast episode. So since we're going to start talking about beliefs, I think that it's appropriate, right, that we, yes, I'm just looking at my notes here because I want to talk about this. This could actually, understanding this can actually change everything for you and give you a point of view that you didn't know was possible, or that you didn't even know was there, right? And that's the belief. So why don't we define the word belief? Because I think this is very, very important to understand a belief. And a belief is the feeling of certainty about what is true or possible. It's the story that you've accepted about what you think you can or you cannot do. Okay. That's what it is. It's a feeling of certainty about something, about whether it's true or possible. That's all it is, which tells me that we can actually change what we believe. We can choose to change what we believe, right? And let me give you a great little example about what I mean by this, because whatever you believe, it's going to drive every action that you take or every action that you don't take. Beliefs, they shape our consistency, they shape our motivation, and ultimately they shape our results. So just a quick little analogy. If you believe that you're heading out the door to work and you believe that there's going to be a heavy rainstorm coming on your way, then you're probably going to grab your rain jacket or an umbrella. You're going to take action. That's how simple it is. Whatever you believe, then you're going to take action on. That's how simple it is. So you can have the best. So let's talk about this in terms of like macros, calories, or your food or whatever. You can have the best plan. You can have the best macro plan, the best perfect workout program. But if your belief system isn't aligned with that, then you're going to keep staying stuck in the same cycle. So if, like I said, you have perfect nutrition program, perfect programming, but if your belief system isn't wired to believe what is possible or what is true, you're going to be spinning your wheels. You're just going to keep doing these things, but you're not getting any results, and you're not getting what you want. And this is what's so sneaky. It's in here. And here's the thing. There's actually two core beliefs that will either move you forward or keep you stuck in your fat loss journey. So one of them is believing that you can achieve the fat loss goal, right? And then the other one, and this is the sneaky one that we don't talk a lot about, but it's believing that you can actually maintain that once you get there. So most of us have some level of belief in the first one, right? Because we've proven to ourselves, girl, over and over again that we can lose weight. We've proven it. We know we can. We've done a lot of things to do it, but the second belief is the part where I really think is kind of key. Not kind of, it is key, because believing that we can actually maintain it, that's the one belief that's quietly holding a lot of us back. And so towards the end of this episode, I'm also going to talk, like I said, I'm going to talk about how we tie this in together to learning to love our body and right where it is, instead of trying to hate ourselves into change. And this all ties together, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and dive a little bit deeper into the belief, number one, the one about believing that we can lose the fat. Or you can say lose weight, but we know the difference, right? There's a difference between losing weight and losing fat. Okay, take a little swig of the water now. Join me. All right, let's back on. So you've already got proof, right? You can lose the weight. You've done it before, maybe several times. You believe that. So the problem isn't that you can't lose weight. The problem is how you've been doing it. So we've been conditioned to think that fat loss requires suffering and restriction and over-exercising. Oh, and here's the big one, perfectionism. I've been talking a lot about this lately. But all of those things build short-term results. They're not long-term. So that's why this belief is shaky. So, because deep down, we know those methods aren't necessarily sustainable, like we kind of know. So we don't fully trust ourselves to stick with them. I hope that makes sense. So you don't need to prove to yourself that you can lose weight again, right? You need to believe that you can do it differently, and this time through an approach that is sustainable, something that you know that's going to be sustainable. So let me give you this idea or this concept that if you haven't thought about this for a while, but whatever you're doing to get to your said goal, your fat loss goal, it needs to be something that you're going to continue to do long term. Because if we're just doing something for a short period of time, whatever that is, very restrictive, eliminating foods, all these food rules, whatever it is that is something you're not willing to continue in some way long term, then that's not sustainable. And that's what, that's what all the diet programs are. All the stupid diet programs are doing that. But when we have a system, a structured system in place that's sustainable and that is a lifestyle, not just a diet program, then everything changes and we can have a belief that starts to grow naturally. So if your approach is rooted in, strength training, balanced nutrition, and respect and belief, then respect in what you're doing and respect for yourself, then that belief starts to grow very naturally. I didn't mention this, but I believe strongly in like journaling things. So if you have you have a piece of paper or a notebook and pen, maybe write this down to just kind of think about it, because I just want you to reflect on this for a moment. It's not about if you can lose it, right? It's about how you do it. When the how you do it changes, then the belief is going to grow. Okay. So here's a journal prompt if you want to. What would it look like if you believed that fat loss could be simple, could feel simple, structured, and sustainable? What would that feel like? Because that's the difference between doing a stupid diet and approaching this as a lifestyle. Basically, that's the difference. And that's why we can't trust ourselves, because we've been doing this thing this other way and it's not sustainable. So we lose weight, gain it, and then we lose trust in ourselves. But we do believe that we can lose the weight. That's not the problem. We believe that, right? Now let's talk about believing that we can actually maintain the fat loss. This is the sneaky belief that's keeping us stuck, because if you don't really believe that you can achieve the goal that you have in mind, whatever that, you want to lose 20, 30 pounds, you're seeing yourself as defined, fit, lean, healthy, this vision, this goal, this outcome. If you don't truly believe that you can get there and maintain this is the second piece, believe that you can maintain it. Do you think you're going to take actions sustainably, consistently? This is what I'm talking about. This is one of the key reasons why most women stay stuck, why most women keep on spinning their wheels and starting over, because deep down inside, they have a core belief that they cannot just achieve that, but maintain that. Yeah. So you're not afraid of losing the weight. You're afraid about keeping it off. And we were talking about this, I don't know if it was in the masterclass last week, or if it was in a coaching call, but we were talking about how, the fear of regaining the weight. That's a real fear. I remember feeling that anytime I would be losing weight on any stupid diet program, I did have a belief that I was going to regain it. And that's a scary feeling, because you feel like you're doing all this, and then at some point you just want to give up. Excuse me. But you have tons of evidence that you can do it, right? What you don't have yet is proof that you can maintain it. That's the piece that's keeping us stuck. And so that's not your fault, okay? Because we've spent most of our lives either in fat loss mode or gaining it back. So let's just remove the judgment, okay? I think it's helpful for us to not judge ourselves, beat ourselves up. We've just never practiced what maintenance usually looks like, because most of us are either on a diet or we've given up. There's no maintenance phase, which I share this often with the ladies in Rock That Business. Like, we're not here to live in fat loss mode all the time. There needs to be both. And we need to live most of our lives in a sustainable maintenance. So even if you are in a fat loss phase, it's important to take a break from that calorie deficit. Let your body readjust. Let your hormones balance back out. Let your metabolism adjust. Get back some more energy. All of that, right? Get back into some semblance of balance with our whole body. So maintenance really is where we want to be living, not in fat loss phase. And just think about this. Think about the emotions that are all tied in that. You're in fat loss phase. Fat loss phase, I'm not talking about, I'm talking about when you're on a diet. You're on a diet and it's restrictive. All these emotions are very uncomfortable. It's not something sustainable. Your brain wants to rebel and get out of there. And that's the other reason why we tend to stop and break down, because the brain can't take that. It's overwhelming to try to stay perfect all the time and restrict. And then finally the brain is like, no, let's go, disempowering behavior. Let's go to this behavior, whatever that is, right? Let's just overindulge in food. Let's overeat, binge Netflix, go doom scrolling, eat the half gallon of ice cream, you name it, because diets are just not sustainable and our brain does not like all of that restriction. So we haven't ever practiced what maintenance looks like. We identify as the woman who's always trying to lose weight. How many times have you heard somebody say that? Oh, are you on a diet? Yeah, I'm trying to lose weight. And trying is just giving yourself an excuse to get out, to escape, to not do it. It's like saying, I tried, right? At least I tried. So maintenance isn't even part of that, but just some things to think about, right? We've mostly been identifying as that woman that's trying to lose weight. That's not very encouraging. That doesn't feel very empowering. I'm trying to lose weight. Come on. You can step into taking full responsibility for things and saying that you are doing something. This is the difference when you are stepping into a lifestyle, a fit lifestyle. And we want to shift the story, right? Because maintenance is not like the end goal is maintenance. And then like when I say maintenance, some people might think, well, that's being stuck. When I get to maintenance, like there's no more progress. And that's not true, because maintenance is progress, and actually maintaining and learning how to do it better is also something to work towards. Because see, what happens is you're in a fat loss phase, you're working towards fat loss, and it's like you're losing weight over, week after week, you're losing weight. Like you're making progress, right? You feel like you're actually doing something when you are working towards your fat loss and you're seeing the progress. And then suddenly, let's say you get to maintenance, people think, now what? I'm not progressing anymore. No, you are. This is the most amazing place to be, is maintenance. Whether you're taking a break from fat loss or you're in your maintenance phase, this is a beautiful place because there's so much to learn in this place. It's not the end. It's continuing, because we're continuing to improve and learn, taking in the biofeedback of what our body is doing. We're changing all the time. So it's constantly working on understanding and better refining, the foods that we eat, how we train, how we show up for ourselves, how we continue to advocate for our health and our fitness as we are aging. So maintenance is not a place of being stuck. So we have to get that out of our mind. Maintenance is a place of mastery. Girl, we are going to master maintenance. And you can begin mastering maintenance when you take breaks from fat loss phase, because it's really important to understand how to maintain. And there's a lot of things that go into that, right? I think you and I both know that. So it's not the end of progress getting into maintenance. It's where we should live most of the time. And your body isn't meant to diet forever. And we need seasons of maintenance, like I said, for restoration, to protect our metabolism, and just to make our bodies continue to adjust and normalize, homeostasis, scientific word if you want, which is that balance, right? Think of maintenance as your home base, and fat loss is a phase that's short and strategic. And maintenance is where you thrive. And somebody asked inside of the membership the other day, which I thought was a great question. She asked, how do you know when to take a fat loss? How do you know to take a calorie deficit break? How do you know when is the time? How do you know when it's time to go into maintenance? And that is, that's a very broad question, because it's very individualized. It just depends on you as an individual. It depends on how much weight you need to lose. It depends, yes, on how lean you are. What is your body composition? It depends on how you're doing in your fat loss phase, because you can set a goal of losing 30 pounds, and you can calculate what weight loss will be at, you know, half a pound to 2 pounds a week. Calculate that out and decide. And you could be going along great. And if you are going along great in your fat loss phase and things are still, you're still making progress and you're not having any kind of like mental hangups and you're not feeling fatigued and you're not losing sleep, it's not creating a problem and you're still making progress, then keep going. That's great. But we don't want to keep on going if we are feeling fatigued and low energy, and a lot of things could be happening, right? Just hormonally, chemically in the brain. And if you are starting to slip, because what's happening is your mind is just tired. Like you've been working on this, right? All this mental energy has been going this direction. You start noticing like you kind of start skipping the tracking. You're kind of, or maybe you're still tracking, but now you're kind of going up, you're not weighing things as accurately. Your data is getting skewed and you're not making any progress anymore. Great time to take a fat loss phase, break, take a calorie deficit break, and, move into maintenance for a couple of weeks. Give yourself a mental break. And then that doesn't mean like you just go hog wild and in surplus, just means that now you're kind of getting out of that very, focused mode for fat loss and giving your body a chance to take a break. And then when you come back into your calorie deficit, you're driven, you're motivated, you've got your back, you've got your mojo back, girl, and you're heading into it again back. But it's very individual, depends on all these things. It's a very individual thing. And I think that you will know for yourself if you are paying close attention. Pay attention. So when you start believing that maintenance is success and it's not stagnation, then you stop rushing and you stop panicking and you start living. And another part of this too, I just want to take a little moment here to recognize that there are women out there that are taking, the medication for fat loss, for weight loss, the popular GLP-1, all those things are happening. And I had a question, I get this question a lot. What do you think about the GLP-1s for fat loss or for weight loss? Well, I just think that they're a great tool for the right person, but under medical supervision. And also, this is the big key thing here is that just because you're on a medication does not mean that these things don't apply. Because if you are only doing a medication to lose weight, you're not just losing fat, you're also losing muscle mass, which is decreasing your metabolism. So you're not learning how to live a fit, healthy lifestyle because we still need to do these things. We still need to strength train to maintain and build muscle. We still need to do cardio for our heart and our lung health. We still need to be eating healthy foods and getting plenty optimal protein to maintain the muscle. We still need to be doing these basics, even if you are doing that, because if you were to lose all of the weight and you didn't do any of these, then guess what? You're in this place where you think you're not making any progress, but progress for you is going to be really honing in on your nutrition and start giving your body what it needs, finding out what your maintenance is, which means we're going to need to eat more because you've been really, really restricting if you've been on these meds. And we need to learn what our maintenance is. And we need to learn how we can incorporate optimal amounts of protein and carbs and fats, and then getting in the gym and strength training. Still need to do that. So I felt like I needed to put that in there because I had that question the other day. And so there's still progress. So when you get there, the progress is there. And I think the piece of this that I don't want to forget to say is that if you've been losing weight, and now you're at your ideal weight, you might feel like I'm not making any progress anymore because your mind has been so wired to make progress by losing weight. We have to redirect it. Progress is not losing weight anymore, right? Progress now is learning how to maintain and learning how to have a healthy, fit, strong body and lifestyle. That's the part that needs to be worked on right here in the mind and shifting what progress looks like. And that's why it's so important to practice the things that you need to practice for maintenance. So we need to believe in maintenance. We need to believe in what We can believe that we can lose weight, right? That's already a given. But this is the piece. We've got to learn to believe that we can actually maintain the fat loss so that when we get there, we're maintaining it. So we have to practice consistency and moderation now during the process, not just in a deficit. So this is the key part, right? When you are practicing consistency in a structured plan with your strength training, structured plan with your nutrition. It's consistent and it's a system that's in place. So you are learning to trust yourself in those actions, in those daily actions that support your goal, your aligned goal, right? Which your goal out there, that goal, that outcome goal that you have for yourself. Remember this. Okay, getting to the goal, like that, we don't need to hang on to that idea as much as the actions it's going to take to get there. So practicing the consistency and these things that we do daily that are in alignment with the goal that you have, excuse me, that's going to help us to believe that maintenance is possible. Does that make sense? Because as you're doing these things that are systematic, strategic, and they are supporting a fit, healthy lifestyle, because it's the way you're getting there, the way you're doing it is a sustainable method. RTF method, side note. Because it's a sustainable method, you're going to begin to believe and know that when you achieve your desired goal, you're going to be able to maintain it. And that's where the excitement comes in, because based on the consistency that you are doing, that you are taking, that you are making, your consistency in these things, that's going to get you excited and drive you continually to your ultimate goal, right? Losing the fat, getting to a healthy weight, getting stronger, leaner, fitter, those things. But because you're doing it in a way, the Rockstar method way, then you will believe it. You will believe that maintenance is achievable, and then you're going to get there and be able to maintain. And this is the belief that is missing in so many women's lives with their fat loss goals. I hope that helps. You don't become a woman that can maintain after you reach your goal. Let this sink in, please. This is key. You don't become a woman who can maintain after you reach your goal. You become the woman who can maintain through the habits that you're practicing right now. So I've kind of said this in a few different ways, and I hope it makes sense. So here's a little reflection or journal prompt, if you will. What proof right now do you already have that you are capable of maintaining success? What proof do you have? Okay. Think about how you've maintained success in other parts of your life. Well, you can use that same belief right here. Okay. All right. Time to take a swig of the water. Rock on to all my YouTube people watching. Rock on. All right. I hope that was helpful. I think that you can change your belief if you haven't. You have the choice. All right. So let's move into, why are we so hard on ourselves? This is the part that I want to talk about that has to do with what I said in the beginning about loving your body right now and how that will change everything. Like, don't wait until you've achieved said goal to love your body. It's not helpful. We're here to help ourselves. So, but why are we so hard on ourselves? Girl, I am just as hard on myself as the next person. I've gotten way, way better, I will say. And I hope you have too. But we do have a tendency to be hard on ourselves. So I want us to connect these beliefs, and understand that we have to combine it with self-compassion so that we can show that love, because that love is going to drive the consistency better than criticism. And that's the main point that I want to get across here. Excuse me. So let's be honest. For so many years, we've been hard on ourselves, right? We think discipline equals, equals self-crit. Like if we discipline ourselves, we're disciplined, and these things we have to be self-critical. We think that's going to help us. Okay, we think discipline equals self-criticism. We tell ourselves, if I ease up on myself, I might get lazy and I'm not going to get my results. But has that ever really worked? See, here's where we challenge yourself in this question. Because if beating yourself up worked, wouldn't it have worked by now? Sorry, I have something in my throat. I had to cough. So we can't hate ourselves into a body that we love. Okay. And like I say, this is something I did for years. So I'm pretty sure most of us, well, I know most women have struggled with this too. Just having this, I had a disgust with my body when I was overweight and fat. It took time for me to love my body in spite of the quote unquote flaws, because are they actually flaws? Because what are we comparing it to, right? It's your body. It's the only one you have, and you are not your body, but you are here to appreciate, respect, and love this body, because we cannot hate. You cannot hate your body into improving it. Okay. You can't hate yourself into a body that you will love. How about that? Being hard on yourself may give you a short burst of motivation, but it doesn't last. It's going to burn you out. And when you love your body right now, not because it's perfect, which we know perfection is not even attainable, there's no such thing, but you love your body because it's yours. It's your body. Then you can build the desire to care for it. Build it. Care for this body. It's the only one that you have. So let's do what we can to make it better, to improve it. When you get you start taking those progress pictures, which we do that in RTF, like we're taking progress pictures. I still take progress pictures every month. One of the reasons I do that is because life is changing. I'm changing. Things are always changing. So it's kind of fun and interesting as I'm continuing to take action, to take care of my body. It's interesting to kind of look back 6 months from now and compare my progress pictures, what it looked like 6 months ago, what it looked like last year at this time. I can look at it. It's really interesting. But the other key thing, and one of the things that I encourage in our ladies in Rock That Fitness, is let's take our progress pictures also for body awareness, just to be aware. And if you have some kind of feeling about taking those pictures for yourself, then we need to talk. Like, what's the hang up? You're not your body, but you're here to love it and improve it. And it's good to be aware of what's going on with our body and embrace and love all of those flaws, whatever it is, the cellulite, the stretch marks, the flab, the excess skin, whatever it is, right? But love your body. It's the only one you have, and your body needs your love. You need your love. Your body needs your love. And love isn't going to make you complacent. I've heard this before. It's this idea that, well, if I just love myself as I am, then I'm not going to change. I won't change. Yes, you will, because you're going to love your body enough to do the things it's required for becoming healthier and fitter, because you love yourself and you love your body. So when you love your body as it is right now, not because it's perfect, because it's yours, you're going to put in the effort. You're going to invest the time, the focus, stay focused. Okay, stay focused. So it's not going to make you complacent. It's going to make you consistent, because you'll always want to continue taking care of something that you value, right? Right? Where your treasure is, your heart is, right? Love. You can love. Is that how it goes? Yeah, where your treasure is, your heart is. Yeah, yeah, it is. Okay. You can love yourself today, and you can still want to grow stronger, leaner, and healthier. I put this quote out there. I've seen it before. Basically, you can love your body, girl, and still want to change it for the better. I mean, that's in anything, right? You can love anything and want to make it better. You can love your home and want to improve your home, right? This is the home you live in. Okay. So self-acceptance isn't giving up. You're not going to become lazy and complacent. It's going to drive you. It's going to help you. It is going to drive you to be consistent. It's giving yourself permission to grow, to do better for yourself. Another journal prompt. What would change if, just ask yourself this question. Okay. What would change if I encouraged myself the way that I would encourage my best friend on her journey? Ooh, ooh. So be your own best friend, girl. And let's encourage yourself, right? How would you encourage your best friend if she was on a fat loss journey, a health and fitness journey? You can do that for yourself. Okay. So let's recap what we went over today. The two things that we believe about our fat loss journey. We can believe that we can lose fat, but if we don't believe that we can maintain it, there's going to be some issues there, right? So we need to believe this. And how you get there is the way that you get there, Rockstar method way, right? Dialing in nutrition, individualized for you in a healthy, sustainable way, structured strength training on a program, and, taking care of yourself in all of these ways in a way that's sustainable so that you're getting there. And because of the way you're doing it, you're going to be able to sustain it long term in maintenance. So those two things, believe that you can lose fat, believe it because we've done it many times, but also believe that you can maintain it. And then, oh my goodness, got a cough. Hold on. And then, excuse me, I just muted this because I didn't want to stop the recording. And then underneath both of these, right, is the belief that you are worthy and your body is worthy of the love and care right now. Don't you dare wait until some goal that you've achieved. Because how many times, I need to say this, how many times have you made a plan to do something? Let's think about something exciting, a marathon. You're going to do a marathon, you get the strategy in place, you're doing your training, you're going to get there, you're so excited for that achieved goal, and you get there and you do it, you did it, it's done. And it was exciting, it was a wonderful day. Now what? Oh, I have nothing else now. No, you're going to go do another race, right? Because you feel like you have to keep on going towards some kind of goal, achieve something to feel good about yourself. But you don't need to achieve said goal to already be worthy of love, self-care, all of those things right now. This can get pretty deep. I'm not going to get deep about it, but I just want you to know that you're already worthy of your love. Your body is worthy of your self-care right now. And if you keep on waiting until you have achieved it, you're not going to be happy, because I'll tell you right now, if you are doing that, when you finally reach your goal the way you did, however you did it without the self-love, you're still not going to love your body. This has to happen in the process, girl. It has to happen in the process. I've experienced this. I've seen client after client experience this. It is needed for you to right now love yourself. Okay. So you're not starting over, you're building proof that you can sustain this lifestyle for life. We're not going to be doing this starting over anymore, because we're doing things in a way that are sustainable. And because you're doing it I've said, how many times have I said this already? Hopefully it's going to be sinking in for you, because you're doing it in a sustainable way and you don't have some kind of deadline, timeline, restriction, deprivation. Because of that, girl, you're going to be golden. You're going to be like really believing it for yourself. You're going to know, because you're consistently doing it now. When you get there, you're just going to improve. Maintenance is going to be mastery. That's what you're going to be working on, continuing to improve. So ask yourself, do I believe that I can not only reach my goals, but can I keep them with ease? And that ease is earned. It's earned through putting in the work, putting in the effort, putting in the consistency. Do you believe you can do it with confidence? And if your answer is not yet, that's okay. That's exactly what we do. We build together. We have each other. Reach out to me or come join us inside of Rock That Fitness. Have a support group, have a huge army, a band of women to back you up. That's the power of having a community that's doing the same things, improving ourselves. Don't do this alone. You don't have to do it alone. Okay. You don't do it alone. So if you don't believe this yet, just start working on it. And, change the way that you talk about it, rather than saying, I don't believe it. I can't believe it. You can say, I'm working on believing it. I am working on believing it. That will change a lot. Just saying, I want to believe this. I'm going to work on changing what I believe, because I think it is hard sometimes for us to say, but how do you change it? Well, you choose. It's that simple. And I know people don't want to hear it. Well, be stepping on toes, but it's true. Life is choice. You can believe what you want to, you can choose to believe what you believe and change your story. All right. Well, that pretty much wraps things up. Again, you can always reach out to me if you need me. If you have questions about this episode, about what I talked about, believing and maintenance, and anything that I had to say, you can always reach out to me. Anna@rockthatfitness.com. Find me on the social medias. You know where to find me. And if you found this helpful, it would be so awesome if you would share it with somebody. I really appreciate you sharing it, even giving a rating and review. Would you do me that favor? Like take 2 or 3 minutes and just give me a rating and review, whether you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple. Whatever you can do would be helpful to help push this out, to help push out my podcast, to help more women. I'd really, really appreciate it. If you're getting something out of this, give back by giving a rating and review. Hopefully 5 stars. 5 stars, girl. All right. I want you to keep on rocking your fitness, Rockstar. I love you so much. Thanks for hanging out with me once again on our podcast. Remember always self-care, self-love, all day, every day, in every way. Do I have your word? Good. Rock on.